Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We're grateful that you've joined us this Shabbat on this Pride Shabbat. And as we open this evening, we offer these words of prayer. Makor HaChaim, source of life, you have blessed each of us with your spirit. In your wisdom, you have made each of us a unique treasure. Mayan Chayenu, wellspring of our lives, cause us to flow with courage, strength, and compassion, to live our stories openly, proudly, and joyfully. It's my pleasure to call forward the co-chairs of our Pride Committee, Jay Potter and Jody Glass.
Hi, welcome to everyone, and thank you so much for being here. I'm Jody Glass.
And hi, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Jay, and I'm the co-chair of the Pride Committee alongside Jody here at TBE. I've been the new addition this year. This year, we're welcoming our congregants to come in as opposed to coming out. The idea behind coming in is that we want to hold space for everyone to be welcomed into Temple for exactly who they are and no matter who they love. We want to say irrevocably that you are welcome here. We wanted to take the time this Pride Shabbat to welcome in some of our own that fall into the LGBTQIA spectrum and provide the definitions for a framework to better support the Pride Committee's initiatives to create a better understanding in our community of both gender and sexual diversity. And with that, I'll let Ruthie take it away.
Hi. I identify as a lesbian, a woman who is emotionally, romantically, or sexually attracted to other women.
I identify as a gay person who is emotionally, romantically, and sexually attracted to members of the same gender.
I identify as bisexual, a person emotionally, romantically, or sexually attracted to more than one sex, gender, or gender identity, though not necessarily simultaneously, in the same way or to the same degree, sometimes used interchangeably with pansexual.
I identify as transgender, an umbrella term for people whose gender identity and/or expression is different from the cultural expectations based on the sex they were assigned at birth. Being transgender does not imply any specific sexual orientation. Therefore, transgender people may identify as straight, gay, lesbian, bisexual, whatever.
I identify as queer, a term people often use to express a spectrum of identities and orientations that are counter to the mainstream. Queer is often used as a catch-all to include many people, including those who do not identify as exclusively straight and/or folks who have non-binary or gender-expansive identities. This term was previously used as a slur, but has been reclaimed by many parts of the LGBTQ+ movement.
Hi, I'm Jay. I am intersex. Intersex people are born with a variety of differences in their sex traits and reproductive anatomy. There is a wide variety of differences among intersex variations, including differences in genitalia, chromosomes, gonads, internal sex organs, hormone production, hormone response, and/or secondary sex characteristics.
I identify as an ally, a term used to describe someone who is actively supportive of LGBTQ people. It encompasses straight and cisgender allies, as well as those within the LGBTQ community who support each other. For example, a lesbian who is an ally to the bisexual community.
And we'll hand it back to our rabbi.
Cool. You ready for a song?
We continue with Olam Chesed Yibaneh. We will build this world with loving kindness.
Olam Chesed chesed yibaneh. Yalalai, lai, lai, yalalalalai. Olam chesed yibaneh. Yadadai, dai, dai, yadadadai. Olam chesed yibaneh. Yadadai, dai, dai, yadadadai. Olam chesed yibaneh. Yadadai, dai, dai, yadadadai. I will build this world from love. Yadadai, dai, dai, yadadadai. And you must build this world from love. Yadadai, dai, dai, yadadadai. And if we build this world from love, yadadai, dai, dai, yadadadai, then God will build this world from love. Yadadai, dai, dai, yadadadai. Olam chesed yibaneh. Yadadai, dai, dai, yadadadai. Olam chesed yibaneh. Yadadai, dai, dai, yadadadai.
It is with great joy that we invite the Mercado family forward. Emma Mercado will be called to the Torah tomorrow morning as a bat mitzvah, and we cannot wait to celebrate with her family. So Emma, Jill, and Felix, we invite you to help us welcome this special Shabbat.
Now, should we do the candles first?
Reading. The reading on page 3.
The reading on page 3, I'm sorry. We did not be ready for that. Here you go, sorry. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
Can you light your candles and then say the blessing? And we'll sing along with you from our homes on page 2.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Beautiful. Our service continues with the Kiddush on page 5. As we lift a glass of the fruit of the vine. Okay, Mercados, you're on.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen.
Amen. L'chaim. Thank you. We continue with Lecha Dodi on page 20.
Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat mekabela lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat יהי מקור הברכה, ראש מכרם נצוחה, טוב לעשה במחשבה תחילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי כלה, בואי כלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Love wins. One day, the words coming out will sound strange. Oppression based on gender or orientation will be a memory. History to honor and remember the pain of hiding, repressing, denying. Honoring the triumphs of those who fought to be free. Remembering the violence and vitriol that cost lives. When love wins at long last, V'ahavta yarechecha chamocha, love your neighbor as yourself, will be as natural as breathing. V'ahavta yarechecha chamocha. One day, love will win every heart. Love will win every soul. Fear will vanish like smoke, and tenderness for all will fill our hearts. V'ahavta l'rechecha chamocha. Love wins. In the end, love wins. Man for man, woman for woman, woman for man, man for women. All genders, all orientations, all true expressions of heart. V'ahavta l'rechecha chamocha. Let this come speedily in our day, a tribute to the many and the diverse gifts from heaven, a tribute to love deep and true, each of us for one another. V'ahavta l'rechecha chamocha. Amen.
Our service continues on page 28 with the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
A little rainbow pin. I put on my shirt. I put on my shorts. I strap on my shoes. I get on my coat. And before I leave, the most important of all, I put on my little rainbow pin. I walk into school. I walk with pride. I walk taller and straighter with courage I never before beheld. With my little rainbow pin on my little tiny self, I feel bigger than my normal me. I feel better and honest to myself. I love myself and all its perks, because without them, there is no me.
God's unfolding melody. Listen, children's joy echoing from the canyon walls. Cautious parents' warnings close behind. Listen, lanky treetops brushing the underbelly of day's skybound clouds. Listen, be still a moment. Listen within the breath and air. Can you hear? Can you hear the awe in this moment?
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
I'd like to invite Emma to lead us in the Via Hafta. We are on page 36.
Via Hafta Anai Elohecha B'chol Lavavcha U'b'chol Nafshecha U'b'chol Meodecha V'hayu Hadvarim Ha'elech Asher Anohi Mitzavecha Hayom Al Levavecha V'shinan Tam Levanecha V'dibartam B'shivtecha B'shivtecha
V'dibartam
B'shivtecha B'veitecha U'lechtecha V'aderech U'shofecha U'krumecha U'kshartam le'ot Al yedecha V'hayu l'totafot B'neinecha U'ktavtam Al mezuzot beitecha U'bisharecha Leman tiskeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hiyatem kedoshim le'Eloheichem. Ani Adonai Eloheihem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lehiyot lahem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Eloheihem.
Amicha Mocha for Friday nights. Our people came out of Egypt, a mixed multitude, the spray of dividing water sparkling diamonds all around them. We stood together at Sinai, all of us, future, present, past, amid the rumble of thunder and the crack of bright lightning, to enter into covenant with the one who loves us, in whose shining image we are all created over and over again. We have wandered bleak landscapes, built flimsy tents of skin and then houses of stone. We have planted orchards and vineyards, seen two temples rise and then go down in the surging flames, forcing us into exile. We have loved and lost, grieved and danced, transgressed and celebrated, hidden, suffered, thrived. And we gather here this day in the community of our people, a mixed multitude, and we sing out, "Hear, O Israel, we stand together, all of us, descendants of the single first human created on the sixth day, and of our myriad parents down through the generations, too numerous to name. We stand together, link arms, and pray. Blessed are you, God of the universe, who sanctifies us with the commandment to love ourselves and one another in all our varied ways, and blesses us with the diamond bright radiance that still ripples out from your first spoken words of creation."
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, shomreinu lechaim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Hashkivenu Leshalom Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Hashkivenu Shalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
The blessing that I'm going to read was written by a rabbinical student at the Jewish Theological Seminary. His name is Dave Yedid, and he says it's a blessing for my LGBTQ ancestors. You who thought to love, you who prayed at the same God I did, you who insisted on your dignity even when the world said you had none, you who died of AIDS while fighting for a cure so that people like me might live, you who were shot in a massacre while on the dance floor, you who could not come out and held your secret until your dying day, you who were insulated, shamed, beaten, and brutalized, you who were insulted, shamed, beaten, and brutalized, yet kept walking. You contributed your fierceness, your originality, your art, and your voice to this world. I walk to your memory. I walk that path, smoothed and chartered by your sacrifice toward justice, toward holiness, toward freedom. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Vezrat Sarah. Blessed are you, Adonai, Sarah's helper, Abraham's shield.
Our service continues with Tefillah on page 46. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei Bneihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibur le'olam Adonai, מחיי הכל את הרב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה. ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
In this moment, as we gather in sacred community, we take a moment to hold in our hearts and in our prayers dear ones in need of healing of body and healing of spirit. I invite you to share the names of your dear ones with us in the chat if you're comfortable, even as we all raise our voices in the words of the Mishaberach prayer found on page 253.
Mishaberach avotenu mekor habracha limotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. We continue with a moment of silent meditation. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lecha shalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lecha shalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov Leolam Tasim Leolam.
It is now my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker for this evening. She is my friend, Dr. Donnie Anderson, which is most important to me. But let me tell you about her. She was raised in Cranston, ordained. She's an ordained minister, educator, counselor, and social justice activist who lives in the Elmhurst section of Providence, currently serving as the interim minister for the Pilgrim United Church of Christ in New Bedford, Massachusetts. After over 6 dark decades of confusion, fear, and dysphoria, she revealed to her family and everyone that she is transgender. She is involved in several social justice organizations in Rhode Island and currently serves as vice chair of the Rhode Island Commission on Prejudice and Bias, the co-chair of the State Advisory Committee to the United States Commission on Civil Rights, and was recently elected to the Executive Committee of the Rhode Island Democratic Women's Caucus. She does more than that. Nationally, Reverend Donnie serves on the board of the Association of Welcoming and Affirming Baptists, a member of the Coalition to Transform Advanced Care Interfaith Working Group, and one of the co-facilitators of the Jewish Christian Dialogue sponsored by the National Council of Synagogues and the National Council of Churches. So I hate reading an introduction, especially to someone, as I said, is a friend, but it is my absolute honor and privilege to introduce Reverend Donnie Anderson. You're muted.
Old women, who knew, right? I'm so honored to be here today, and I'm filled with emotion at the beauty and the meaning of this service. I had no idea until just before the service started that the Jay that I was so impressed with a week ago, speaking to the crowd out for the flag raising of the LGBTQ flag, talking about Micah chapter 6, was the same Jay who was in all these emails that I've seen going back and forth. So I'm honored to be here. Mom, isn't it great what God has done? Now, what would you say if your 9-year-old child came and said that to you? Well, before I go on, it's probably helpful to know 2 things about my family of origin. First of all, I grew up in a fairly religious household, so God talk wasn't so unusual. Also, my mother and her sister were very close. We lived in Cranston, they lived in Warwick. My Aunt Dot and Uncle Jack did not have children, and so they doted on me and my brother and spoiled us rotten. We loved them, and they were absolutely great. So what would you say to your child who said, Mom, isn't it great what God has done? You probably would say the same thing my mother said to me. What do you think God has done? Now, I was ready for this question. You see, this wasn't something spontaneous. This was something that I'd been pondering for a long, long time. And I thought I wanted to say it in just the right way because I was sure that my mother would think that this was so wonderful. And so I just said to her, my rehearsed answer, I was all ready to go. I said, Mom, God has given you and given Dad and Uncle Jack my brother Paul. But God has given you and Aunt Dot me. I don't remember the exact words my mom said that day, but there were 3 messages. The first was, and I'm so grateful for this, she said, I love you. And she did love me. I knew my mother loved me. The second was, there are 2 teams, and you play for the other team. And the third thing was, we will never, 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 ever talk about this again. And in the age of 9 in 1956, I now understand that I stepped into a very dark closet and shut a door behind me and lived in that dark closet for 6 decades. It became increasingly difficult to live in that closet. And so on August 20th, 2017, I came out to my then wife and ultimately to my adult children that I was transgender. It was a painful experience for me, for them, for even though they were not anti-trans, it's one thing to be objective about trans folks out there. It's another thing for me to express myself as transgender to them. The coming months were very difficult. Those first few months were filled with pain, some arguments, some shared just agony. And I remember one night early in that experience, going up to my bedroom, lying in my bed naked, curled in a fetal position, wondering, what is going to happen to me? How is this all going to work out? How could I have caused some people I care so much about so much pain? What is this all about? The next morning, lying in that same bed, I followed what is my normal practice, and that is to read the lectionary passages, which for us are a 3-year series of biblical passages that take us through the scriptures. And the psalm for that week was Psalm 139. And I read these words. For it was you, God, who formed me in the inward parts. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works, that I know well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. You can say I was being totally subjective, but for me, those words from the psalmist assured me that there was nothing wrong with me. I am who I was supposed to be. I was and always will be a woman, and that gave me incredible strength. We share a wonderful heritage that Dan made reference to in his reading, and that is our common belief that we are made in the image of God. And I'm not sure there's a library large enough to hold the volumes written by rabbis and ministers about what it means to be made in the image of God. But for me, it's very simple. For me, it means that every single one of us is made with dignity and worth, that we have value in God's eyes and in the rest of the world around us. I was on a Zoom today at a middle school here in Rhode Island with another friend, and speaking to those middle school students, knowing that some of them were not only going through the normal crises of being in middle school, but of struggling with their own gender identity and sexual orientation. I hope that all of us can affirm for all of our LGBTQ plus siblings that we are all created in the image of God, loved and created with dignity and worth. Some of you may say, how can I be a great ally? Let me finish with this one story. I shared with you that in August of 2017, I came out to my family. Early in the fall of 2017, I came out to the board of the Council of Churches, who were my boss. I then left the meeting for them to be able to discuss things without me there. They voted 31-0 to not only affirm a sabbatical that I asked for the summer of 2018, but to also affirm my position so that when I came back from that sabbatical, there'd be a job waiting for me. On June 11th, 2018, all of my male clothing went away and I started living full-time in this sabbatical as a woman. My wardrobe was pretty meager. Most of it was hand-me-downs from lesbian friends who loved me, and quite a lot of stuff from job work, to be perfectly honest. I was out of the office all summer, except just before I went on sabbatical, our computers had died, and so we had put in an order for new computers, but they didn't come in until the summer. And so I had to go in to have all of my personal things synced up to the computer. When I walked into the office, sitting on my desk was a 9x13 manila envelope addressed to the Reverend Dr. Donnie Anderson. I opened that envelope. Inside was a box that was about 6x6. It's about that thick. And I opened the box, and inside the box was a card, a gift certificate for $250 to Nordstrom's. With that gift certificate, it was a little card, and there was a short sentiment. It went something like this: just a little something to help you along your way. And it was signed by 5 rabbis. One of them you know really well. That's what it means to be an ally. To be able to say, I may not understand your experience, but I believe you are precious in the sight of God, and you are precious in my sight. May God bless you all. Shabbat Shalom.
Joey and Zach have a beautiful song to follow Donnie's wonderful talk. It's by Fred Small, and it's called Everything Possible.
Oops. Oh, that's not us.
We have cleared off the table, the leftovers saved, washed the dishes and put them away. I have told you a story and tucked you in tight at the end of your knockabout day. As the moon sets its sails to carry you to sleep over the midnight sea, I will sing you a song no one sang to me. May it keep you good company. You can be anybody you want to be. You can love whomever you will. You can travel any country where your heart leads, and know I will love you still. You can live by yourself. You can gather friends around. You can choose one special one. And the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're gone. There are girls who grow up strong and bold. There are boys quiet and kind. Some race on ahead, some follow behind, and some go in their own way and time. And some women love women, some men love men, some raise children, some never do. You can dream all the day, never reaching in the end of everything possible for you. Don't be rattled by names, by taunts, by games, but seek out spirits true. If you give your friends the best part of yourself, they will give the same back to you. You can be anybody you want to be. You can love whomever you will. You can travel any country where your heart leads, and know I will love you still. You can live by yourself, you can gather friends around, you can choose one special one. And the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're gone.
Thank you to Donnie. Donnie, I should say Reverend Anderson, but Donnie's a dear friend also, and just grateful for you and your words and your courage. We're so grateful to have you with us this evening. As we come to a close this evening, we stand together here in a moment of memory. I share words written by Rabbi Denise Eger, who was our Pride speaker last year. Heal me, O God, when I am lost. Show me the way through the shadows of the long night. Hear me, O God, when my heart is broken. Mend my soul and let me love again. Heal me, O God, when my rage consumes me. Teach me to express my disappointments with grace. Heal me, O God, when my life seems in shambles. Pick me up and dust off my clothes. Heal me, O God, when hope deserts me. Let me learn to have faith once again. Heal me, O God, when my dreams have not been realized. Open my eyes to the wonder that is still there. Heal me, O God, when my body is weak. Strengthen my will to live each day anew. Heal me, O God, and bless me each day, for with your help I know I shall be healed. This evening, we remember those whom we have lost in recent days: Harriet Quinn, Maxine Morse, Janet Engelhardt Gutterman, Melvin Blake, James R. Engel, Herb Fogel, Herbert Cohen, Elliot A. Feldman, Francis Foy Friedman, Hazel Grossman, Irving Kotler, Karen J. Marshall, Stephen Wolfson, H. Jack Feibelman, Florence Tillis, David Robinson, Faye Rozovsky, Alvin Kurzer, Stanley Smith, Dr. Henry Gewurtz, Joan Adler-Mark, Bernie Levine, Eileen Parker, Lenore Rakitansky, Lawrence Hoffman, Sherry Royal, Gladys H. Jacober. And in this moment of memory, we especially think of Mel Blake, who was a beloved member of our Pride Committee, an ally in every way, shape, and form. And we hold him in our hearts and send our love to Pat this evening. Zichronam livracha, may all the memories of our dear ones be for a blessing. I invite you to share the names of those you might be remembering this evening with us in the chat box, even as we raise our voices in the words of the Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah, v'yalma divarach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, v'gala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehe shmei rabba mevarach le'olam ulamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudasha brichu, le'la min kol birchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Before we have a closing song, and before I'm sure Rabbi Mack is going to make an announcement, just like to thank Joey and Zach for their beautiful music tonight. We were really looking for something special to tell everyone's story tonight, and I think we got it.
No. Echo Cantor Judy's words. We're just grateful to each and every one of you, to our incredible and dynamic Pride team. And if you're interested in joining, I know a few people who will reach out their hand and help you along the way. Donnie, thank you for your beautiful words. A reminder, this is our last service that is only on Zoom. It's hard to believe. Next week we come together in the tent for Shabbat under the stars, and we will continue to Zoom our services. So know that you will still have the link. You can still join us digitally, but if you'd like to join us in person, we will be there with bells on, right, Ken or Judy? Yes, thank you. I will wear pants. Appreciate that reminder. We will look forward to greeting you at that time.
We're going to close with Lechi Lach. If you do have access to a prayer book, it is on page 341, if you'd like to sing along at home.
To a land that I will show you. Lech lecha, to a place you do not know. Lech ilach, on your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing, and you shall be a blessing, and you shall be a blessing. Lechi lach, lechi lach, and I shall make your name great. Lech lecha, and all shall praise your name. Lechi lach, to the place that I will show you. L'simchat chaim, l'simchat chaim, l'simchat chaim, lechi lach. shall be a blessing, and you shall be a blessing, and you shall be a blessing. Lechi lach. Shabbat shalom.
Oh, thanks, Joey and Zach.
Beautiful.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Thanks,
Lynn,
Joey.
thank
Thanks,
you for
Zach.
the reminder. We will gather tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. on Zoom for Shabbat morning services, and look forward to celebrating with the Mercado family at 10:30 as Emma is called to the Torah.
Yay.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. We invite you to stick around, go into gallery view as we come down.